Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Not Your Asian Women podcast. I'm Christine Chang.
I'm Shining.
We're going to talk about money.
Mana.
I love money.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't?
Some people don't.
That's retarded.
They think it's evil. Have you ever met someone like that? They think it's like the source of all evil is money.
Must be hella rich or something.
Or the other way.
Yeah.
Poor.
Or like poor and then not want to work for it. And then, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a scary thing. Unfortunately, our like education system doesn't teach us how to manage money, make money.
Have a healthy relationship with money. It's such a sensitive topic. People are so opinionated about it. It's a big part of our lives, which I think it's why it's important to talk about. And I think people have a lot of shame around money is what I'm noticing. And something as simple as not talking about what your salary is or how much you make. It actually would be healthier if people spoke about that, right? And my friends and I who have done personal growth, I don't know if that's the best term, but you realize it's just like a thing. We're not, it's not good, bad, money's just a thing. And when we started talking about it more, I noticed myself having funny emotions when they'd be like, oh, how much did you get paid for that? When it's just a question, it's not them judging, like how much, and then I was just like, do I want to share it? Are they going to think it's too low or too high? But we would have the conversation, but I notice all these feelings getting kicked up of what's other people going to think. Because before I wasn't used to being so transparent about it. And I had to do a lot of healing with my relationship with money because growing up, we were raised very, I would like to say practical. My parents are very practical. Money-wise, we never had to worry about money, and we traveled a lot. So I grew up wealthy, but my parents I wasn't aware of it. And the way that I remember growing up wasn't so much the traveling or the fancier stuff. It was more my parents saving and being mindful about money, which is a big part of accumulating wealth as well. So it's a good skill that I learned from them, but I realized I was being a little too conservative with it, where it was more lack versus abundance. I'd get really hard on myself if like I did something and I couldn't get the money back. I'd get hung up on it instead of like, oh, let's learn and let's move forward. I mean, feel like I lost out on something. And so now also accepting how I grew up, because I think I don't know if it came with shame or I didn't feel maybe deserving of it. Like why some people are just luckier than others. I said, like, do I deserve this? And there were certain things that were said to me growing up. For example, my mom would say, because they had a company, and then my sister and I would work there during the summers, starting when we were maybe 11 or 12. And it was always, you have to work and earn to make money, which is a good thing to teach your kids, but it was a little too extreme that I took it. I don't deserve this unless I work for it. And yes, you should. I mean, you don't want it to swing the other way where someone feels entitled and like, you should give me money. I want to get paid $200,000. And it's like a entry assistant role, which you're seeing now these days. I feel like a lot of my friends, like when we hire like the interns, it's different from when we grew up. When I was an intern, I want to learn, like, what can I do? I want to learn. I'm willing to do anything. Now they're like, what are you going to offer me? I had someone not want to help me out on a gig. Originally she did. And then afterwards she said, the energy is just off for me. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, which is fine. It's valid. But I never heard anyone say something like that before.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I'm coming to terms with accepting how I grew up and accepting how lucky I am and privileged I am in a lot of ways to have not had to worry about money, and also creating more of a abundance mindset. And I'm talking a lot. One last thing I want to say is I think what made me a little insecure about it was that I would make fun of other people if I felt they were privileged and not aware of their privilege. You know, like it's easy to make fun of rich people. It really is. You know? But I noticed like
you don't ski?
It's when they're ignorant is when it's triggering for me. You can have money and you can be wealthy, but I think just being well-rounded, like traveling away, exposing yourself to different people so you're not delusional. So that's always my goal, is make sure like I'm not living in a little bubble that I can't see things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
What was your relationship like with money growing up?
Like similar. Yeah. I'm very lucky that I don't have to worry about money, or have never worked for money. But I also I had to actually coming here in America woke me up, because I was in a bubble. I thought everyone's parents paid for their school, vacation, education, houses. Like that's just very normal thing for the circle that I grew up in. My parents, and then all my family members, and my parents' friends. It's just a very normal thing. And then coming here to college, and I know, oh shit, like people's parents can't, like a lot of people go get student loans, and they have to work full time to afford that, and then pay like all of this, and then like credit card debt and all that. It's a very normal thing here, and that kind of like woke me up from that sense of like entitlement. And I go, oh, that what I came from is not normal. Like this is, most people, you have to struggle and work for and then get like a student loan, and then all these struggles are normal. So which made me appreciate my relationship with money a little more. And then because of like my the lucky or opportunities I had, I'm pretty generous with money when it comes to like like tipping or donations and stuff like that. And then also because we don't have kids, all of these money, I'm in firm believer of you can't hoard it. You have to like give out in some way, and then pay services and stuff. Maybe just my excuses want to do delivery and not cook. Every time I order stuff, like, you know what, someone is getting paid. I'm being a good person. But yeah, anyways, for I think the comments, but at the same time, because of our culture, even though we didn't have to worry about money, we weren't been like a spoiled brat with it. We know that's our parents' hard working earned money, and we still have a very good, at least bare minimum common sense of don't spend more than you make, and you need to save, you need to invest, you need to have like some portion of money go into some, and then and it's not, and then also like I feel like no matter how rich Asians are, we still cheap.
Well, I feel a lot of the wealthiest people. I have a friend who works on private jets for billionaires, and she says they're so cheap. And I say they're mindful of their money, because that is one of the qualities that is required to build wealth. People assume it's not until you get there you realize, people, your character doesn't change because your bank account gets bigger.
Oh.
And I understand some people have hundreds of billions. It's a lot of money, but they're still going to track their money. And I understand. I view money kind of as, one, I like to be mindful. So I don't want to just unmindfully spend. Like, what's actually important to me here? Could this have gone to someone else or a better thing? For example, I had a friend who, they make a lot of money, but they're not as mindful. For example, we went to Disneyland and they have young kids, and she said, oh, I'm just going to book a Disneyland hotel room, and maybe we'll use it. They ended up not using it. And those rooms are not cheap. It's like a minimum $800 a night. For me, I would think like, oh, I could have donated that $800 to charity or something like that. And what I've learned from her is, at that point, her kids, I think, were having like a meltdown or something. She's like, okay, we got to go. I understand that. So you can't change that. But for me, I would like to be a little more mindful with my spending. And I view it kind of as a game. So I still do get excited if I somehow save money or there's like a coupon. I'm not going to go out of my way to clip coupons, but I respect people who do that. And I think I view it as, just say it's like $2 off. I view it like there's two $1 bills here. And if it's easy for me to use it, I'm going to use it, because those little things totally add up and I get really happy. And one time a real estate agent said, just because someone's wealthy, just say there's a condo in New York and it's $14 million. No one buys it at the sticker price. Everyone wants to feel like they're getting a deal. That is human psychology.
Speaking of, I'm gonna shout out Morgan Hughes. So I don't know how to say his last name, but
the book is called The Psychology of Money.
Yes, this is a really helpful book. Basically, I spend I don't know, like this book is $25, and this whole book is about don't spend money, you dumb bitch.
Don't spend more than you have.
And then basically it's just saying that, wealth is something you don't see. Is the nice cars not purchased, like the first class not upgraded, and assets not been converted yet. The common sense of don't spend more than you make. And then he goes a little further. Don't spend money you do make. Save them. That's literally how wealth is generated.
Logic here. If you want to be a millionaire, is it I want to be a millionaire or I want to spend $1 million? Because those are two different things. And so if you want to become a millionaire, yes, it's not buying the luxury cars. I still don't fly first class, business class, unless somehow they upgrade me, which hasn't happened often. To me, economy plus is plenty for me personally. And what's his name? Ramit Sethi. Do you know him?
Yeah.
He has a concept of, what's most important to you and spend your money there. You shouldn't make hard rules about things. I don't value sitting in first class right now that much to pay the difference. Same with luxury hotel rooms. Some people get really happy staying in a really nice room with like a nice view, corner room. For me, if I want the view, I'll go to the rooftop and see this view. It's not worth it to me. It doesn't increase my happiness to wake up to that view. Because most of the time when I travel, I don't spend too much time in the hotel room. I'm usually out and about anyway. So that's just something I genuinely don't value. So again, I guess it's more practical. Maybe it's the way that I was raised. But my parents also, they were never flashy people either. My mom likes nice things. If it's a nice purse, the quality is genuinely good, she will spend. She'll spend $1,000 on it, but that's not always the case. Sometimes things have that price tag. The quality's not great, but she would never buy it just for the label. To me, feeling secure in wealth also is you don't have to show it all that or be that flashy. But I think maybe some people like being flashy. I guess like the newer money, they say like being flashier with the logos and stuff.
Yeah, some like rappers were, like football players. They came from like the hood area. They were poor, and then once they generated a lot of money, most of them lose money and collect like debt and all that. I don't know. Like this book says, there's one thing that's really funny because Rihanna almost went bankrupt.
And
With,
sued
yeah,
her.
sued her financial advisor, and then the advisor responded, "Was it really necessary to tell her that if you spend money on things, you will end up with the things and not the money?" So it was like, it just, I feel I don't want to like come off as judgmental. I guess when you came from nothing, and then once you have a lot of things, you had to go through that phase where you want to show off a little bit because it ties with your success, your hard work. You want people to know, which you want to show. You did it, which is like I guess it's okay, but there's a limit to it, right? And then also maybe for some people to bounce back, you had to go through that bankrupt stage again, like that struggle to make you appreciate, and then you learn the skills of how to save money and then how to pass that wealth to your next generation. So yeah, I mean, the common sense is don't spend more than you make, and then don't collect credit card debt. Yeah, that's not
Very American thing.
Yeah, that's a very American thing. Yeah, like even for y'all, like born here, but since you like your Asian parents won't like Asian parents not we like don't believe in debt or loans or something.
They don't. They don't. My mom was very clear, made it very clear to us: do not spend more money than you have. And she went through the interest and the credit card. She said, this is how much extra you're going to be paying if you have, a balance on your credit card bill. Why would you do that? And I think unless it's an emergency and you really need something, you don't have the money. Yes. And then you slowly pay it off. But I think it's socially acceptable here. The default for American culture is have a credit card and the loan. That's like how they operate. And same with, I guess, investors in a company. It's a completely different business model and approach versus bootstrap. My parents have always been bootstrap because there's more control there. And so I was raised that way. And I also, maybe I'm a control freak. I kind of like that too. Then you're not, my mom always say, then other people have you by your nose. She's like, I want the freedom to do what I want. So that's why they never went public. They didn't have outside investors. But like with my husband, he's always raising money for the companies that he works for. And I see what they can build because they have the resources of investors. But I think I personally have too much shame, and I'd feel too bad if I lost someone else's money. Like these people are shameless. Like, okay, $1 million here, $1 million there. Oh, sorry, lost it. And they don't have remorse. It's just a transactional. We're going to do it. For me, I don't know. It just feels better coming from inside resources versus going the investor route for me personally.
Yeah, for sure. It's very like a white culture, I think.
It is, but they're able to build. If you're good, you're able to build amazing things.
Yeah.
I just, even asking for people for money, I don't feel comfortable with it completely.
Yeah, I listened to this guy. I think he's recently got into like a controversial or something, but I don't give a fuck. His advice is sound though. I don't care about his like political opinions or some shit. Dave Ramsey.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, so basically he's just saying he has like a like a baby steps to wealth, and it's just like a very common sense to us Asians. I feel like, why do you even need to talk about this shit? Like have pay off your debt. I mean, except mortgage, and then have like a rainy day fund. Put like a certain percentage of your income to 401k retirement or something, and then it goes down to if you have family, you need to have college fund for your kids, and then all that is just a literal bare minimum of things. I feel like that yeah, it's weird, kind of weird to me that this for I guess that in a way says America has a good social structure than third world country, I guess. That people feel okay to like pile on loans and credit card debts, and then because their welfare and all that, where like a something society can take care of them or something, at least they won't be starved to death. And maybe in a way that says like developed countries have better like a social welfare structure than third world country.
Yeah, I guess there's less risk that way. What do? You just declare bankruptcy?
Exactly. And then you start over again. Maybe there's a pros and cons to that, but to us, Asians, cash is king.
What are some things that you do to save money? Besides putting money away every month, or is there anything you do, like only have one car between you and your husband?
Oh, yeah. Since we moved here, my husband's work is so, like his company is so close to where we live, he could walk. So we sold our one of our cars, and we just have one car.
Saves so much money, doesn't it?
So much money, and then insurance and all that. And yeah, basically, I have my splurge. There are things I will not back down, like fine dining.
Good food.
I like sushi. I like a Michelin here and there. And I love travel. I love experience. And spent money on like things that give me like joy, or like learning, like improv classes, or when it comes to like all things comedy, I don't second guess. I'll spend money on that. I stopped spending a lot on name brands, purses. I feel like I've gone past that stage. When I was younger, yeah, for sure. Like whatever influencers have, I need the new news, but not anymore. Besides that, like just we set up this like an auto deposit to our brokerage account, like for our retirement, on top of 401k and Roth and all that. And then we have like additional account for retirement. So that's like, so I don't spend it. So it's like the first thing where like income comes, and then all that goes to the savings, and whatever that's left, like for fun, we have. I'm not too tight on the budget. I know a lot of people have, like they watch out every penny they spend. I'm not that tight, but yeah, for sure. The first thing is like paying off all the mortgage and all that other bills, and then retirement percentage goes to that, and then the rest, since we don't have kids, yeah, we splurge on other things. Travel, most of our entertainment goes to travel.
Travel is everything's expensive nowadays, but travel now. P and I were talking about going to Galapagos and Africa next year. Every trip ends up being, it's like minimum 10,000 a person. We're past the age where we want to like backpack and things like that. So I mean,
no, this episode is not relevant at all. It's like people are like, "Shut up, these rich bitch." Click out.
But if you look at flights and things like that,
yeah,
everything has gone up. It's expensive to travel now. So yeah, so a lot of our money goes towards travel. And I was telling him, I'm like, if we take these trips next year, I said, do you want to redo the hardwood floors in our house, or do you want to take these trips? We could afford both, but I just like to be mindful. Do we actually need new hardwood floors in our house? It is good for us to redo because it ups the value of your home. And I think if you're going to renovate anyways, most people renovate before they're going to sell their house. We don't have any plans to sell this place, but I feel you could enjoy it looking nice, while you're in there. And the prices have gone up a lot too post-pandemic. So right now, actually recently, I feel like a lot of money has been going out. So I've been thinking about ways that we can cut back and save. With cars, we're probably going to have to get a new car soon. The good thing about us is neither of us are into luxury car, which is good. To me, I think if you want to drive a luxury car, you can just rent one for the weekend. I view my everyday car like a relationship. I don't want high maintenance. I don't want a gas guzzler. I don't want to worry if someone's going to ding it. I don't want a high registration price, insurance price, all that. I want practical, comfortable, practical, like the equivalent of my husband Pete, but in car form. So I was thinking of what
economy.
Yeah. So I actually think I think it's kind of mid-range, but I really like the Toyota RAV4, how it feels when I drive it, more so than like Lexus and the fancy version. There's something about it where I like it more. So I might get like the hybrid version of that. Safety is also a big thing to me, practical again. So Tesla is a douchey car. However, safety-wise, it's one of like the top rated. And I know 2 people who have gone in really bad wrecks. I'm talking like head-on collision at 60 miles per hour. If they weren't in the Tesla, they'd be dead. I think because it's heavy, like the front's, like the battery's heavy, so it won't crush in. So that, we got rear-ended on the freeway about a month ago, by the way. So you realize how fast these things can happen. So I think safety, but also practicality and the day-to-day costs too. The Toyota RAV4 also very gas efficient, I will say. It's good for the planet. Yeah, so we thought about that when it comes time that our 2013 Fiat goes kaput, which, by the way, Pete's 6'4" and he drives the Fiat. It's like it looks like a clown car. But I always tell him that thing is a city car. If you're on the freeway and you get an accident, it's like a golf ball. Like, you're gone.
Yeah.
And so I would like to stay alive. So I think we'll get something a little bigger, but still practical. We do have a condo. It's the place I lived before we got married. I kept it. And then so we get rent from that every month, which helps so much. I didn't realize how much it helped.
Yo, this episode is not relatable at all.
Well, it's in case no one's ever like taught you like where to put money or options. Like, I watched my parents over the years, over the decades, purchase property, some houses in San Jose, like the Bay Area, and then they moved to commercial property. But it took time to accumulate the wealth to like buy more. But over time, it's one of the safest, I think. It depends on what area you buy in, though, but one of the safest investments, and it'll come back to you. And so I kept this condo, and it wasn't until I was lucky. The last tenants were amazing. They never called me, and every month the checks just come in, and then they left. And that period where I had trouble finding someone, I noticed. I said, "Oh my God, this makes a big difference having this monthly money come in." So I feel very fortunate to have that. And for now, I think we're staying in our current place. We live in Marina Del Rey in LA, and we really like it. However, sometimes I do think when you purchase a home, there's a lot of cost on top of that as well. Renting, at least every month what you're gonna pay. All the shit that comes up when you own a place, we just had a leak in the roof. All this shit comes up. I'm like, this is a lot of money. You can't just like call a landlord and then come fix it. This is coming out of our pocket. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Like that occurred to me. I'm like, why are we doing this? And I understand in the long run, it's going to pay off. But right now, sometimes I think how much more cash we would have if we were just renting, and then we can do a lot more traveling and things like that.
Yeah, I feel bad because housing prices are crazy, and then especially the Bay Area,
California. It's
California.
nuts.
Yeah. Most of younger generations or like millennials still live with their parents and stuff. They just can't afford living on their own, but they have to have roommates.
Right.
Roommates. Yeah.
And there's no shame around that, because when our parents, when they were our age, or actually my parents probably bought in their 20s, one income could have bought a home, and it was maybe 17% of the entire income. Now In most cases, you need 2 incomes. If you're lucky, it could be 1 income, but it's a big chunk, 50 to 60% minimum that goes towards mortgage or rent. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. So I think like places, big cities, New York, San Francisco, LA, I think California in general, a lot of people do have financial assistance from their parents, from down payment or whatever. If you talk to more people, you will learn that most that own will have some kind of help.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. Like that's like every household in China, pretty much. Like both of the 2 sets of parents will have to chip in for the down payment.
Yeah. And so the normal. People who don't have any help, it's a very small percentage. Either they made it in tech, or one of my best friends, she worked her ass off, and she continues to work her ass off and lives very cheaply, very frugal. She has it's a 1-bedroom apartment in an old building in Hollywood. The living room area is pretty big, so she's very, what's the word, like crafty. So she built like a temporary wall to kind of like make the living room into 2 rooms, and she rents out a little bedroom to someone. And I think she has rent control, so she ends up paying like $300 to $400 a month for rent. And she's really saved up a lot that she can afford a down payment on a house soon. I'm like, you should be so proud of yourself for doing that.
Oh yeah.
And she sends money back to her mom in Taiwan. Damn. Amazing. I'm like, you should be so proud of yourself, because in most cases that I've spoken to, for people who live in the immediate LA area, have some kind of assistance.
Yeah.
Who own.
To be more relatable, I guess, like for younger generations. Yeah, dating costs a lot for men, huh?
Dude, the movies now, tickets are over $20 each. If you want popcorn and soda, that's an expensive date.
I would even like say like, even just to like take her out to eat, like food here is insanely expensive. Gonna go to the cheaper end, like McDonald's. Like before it used to be like $5-6 to get like something, right, to eat. Now it's like, because yesterday I just wanted something quick to eat in the morning just so I can get to work. It was like $11 for like 2 of the breakfast burritos or like a muffin. It's like food is just like so expensive.
It's very hard for young men to date, and then this, I don't know, like the new feminist movements or something. I'm not too familiar with it. It's like younger girls go on dates to get free meals. They feel like they're entitled to it. Yeah, that's not how like we were like brought up. Mm-hmm. And then I feel bad for the younger men these days. Like they're forced to be single if they don't make enough money.
Does your generation, do the young women expect you to pay?
You're like, I can talk all about that.
So it's really interesting. It's like a hit or miss. Like that's why I think we're so like cautious now. I think for the most part, at least for me, like the old souls, we would like to pay. But like nowadays with the feminist movement, it's also really nice. But again, it's a hit or miss, because some are like, oh, like with the feminist movement, like I want to empower myself. Don't worry about me. I will pay for this time. So it's kind of like, oh, that's very nice. And like, it's a sentiment. But then again, there's also the opposite spectrum. It's of like, oh, let's go on this date. And in reality, they're just using you to get a free meal and just for the experience. So it's kind of, again, just a hit or miss. And it's just such a brutal like thing now that we just have to be careful of now. That kind of ties into like why we're also just so cautious now. And it's the whole like heads down, like the sigma male. Sigma male, like just heads down, just focus on you, and you're not really like looking around, and you're not like seeing the opportunities, who you can meet and whatnot.
Yeah, I think I've dated man, like when I first met my husband, he didn't have money at all. I think it's there are plenty of women out there would appreciate honesty, and if you're still working to generate wealth, just be, I guess, honest with her and like, hey, this is the at least for me, I find it hella attractive. Like that's like, oh, that's marriage material. If a man says, I really like you, I'd like to take you on a nice date, but this month I only have this much budget for for this, and I can, take I even like Taco Bell or In and Out, whatever. I still like to. I want to get to know you, but this is all I could afford. But like I'm working on this thing, and then but my priority is paying off student loans or this and that. And would you still interested to go on date with me? I'd be like, yeah. That's very, very attractive to me. That tells me that this man has his priorities straight. He wants to take care of money, at the same time, like, man enough to admit that he's not there yet, but he's working towards that direction. I'm like, yo, this is a marriage material.
Yeah, it builds trust, so you're clear on what you're signing up for.
Exactly.
However, I think what you said, that he's going in this direction. He wants to build something. He wants to make money. And I think if you're getting into partnership with someone, having the similar values when it comes to money is very, very important. I like money for options, purely because it gives you more options. I think that everyone has problems, but I'd rather have money and have problems than be worrying about not having enough money and having problems. But it's important to me, so I looked for a partner who valued money in the same way, who they want it, so that we can have more options in life.
To me, a broke, honest man are a lot sexier, more attractive than appear to be rich but take on like so many credit card debts, and then be flashy so they can get pussy. Like fake rich. Yeah, and I can smell that. I it's funny because when I worked in China, there was just like a thing that people like men would buy like expensive car keys from Taobao or Alibaba. And when they go to like bars with shit, they'll just put their Lamborghini car key on the table or something, or like a Louis Vuitton wallet or Hermes wallet, just fake shit to attract younger women who think that they have money, and then will get sleep with them. That was a thing. That was a thing back then. It's like, damn. It's like, first of all, I don't even know if I feel that bad for for those girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you? Yeah, I don't really feel that bad for those girls if they get if they, because you know what you were doing, if that was what you attracted to. Obviously, some guy's gonna fake it to get to you. You can't really blame on them. Now flip the tables and all that, and then pretend that you know shit. Like you wanted to be with a rich man. So I digress. What was the sound?
How we value.
Value money.
Truth,
yeah.
And how I think it's just owning who you are too. Like there's no shame in it. This is where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And take it or leave it.
Yeah. Exactly. For men or like or younger, just younger generation, there's like a materialistic things can give you like a temporary pleasure, but in long term, I think know what you value, and then like have a plan and then save for long term life goal. That's more sexy, more attractive, and shows like you're more mature and committed with yourself than, I don't know, like fake, flashy, or wear all kinds of name brands. To me, it's not that attractive.
I'm thinking of all the very wealthy men who married before they got wealthy. Jeff Bezos, well, they're divorced now. But he's interesting. His new fiance, I find interesting too.
She needs to write a book. That's a side piece turned into official. She knows thing or like if you did you read her history? Like she married up every.
I have some friends who know her, but I haven't asked them about her. She's very intelligent. People say very intelligent. I mean, I don't think he would choose someone who's not intelligent, but he seems to be obsessed with her.
She's a freak. I think that's like a number one thing men value. You're
a freak?
You have to really be good at sex. Yeah,
I
like
think for most men,
enjoying sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Men, I think in general, men like to see a woman who knows how to enjoy herself in all facets of life. I think food costs a lot of money. Eating out.
That's a whole different sex and food.
I've been lucky since being married to Pete. He's always worked with restaurant groups. So like we save so much money because he gets free food from work. And luckily he's worked for places that have amazing food. So we save a lot there. He's willing to splurge on food because he gets so many meals for quote unquote free, basically, where I am the one reeling in. He'll say, you want to get sushi? Like every week it adds up. Those things totally add up. And the hip restaurants in LA, this isn't even nice. It's not fine dining, but just a nice hip restaurant is minimum $200 for the two of us. That adds up. So I bring it to his attention sometimes. Should we pull back on these places that we choose? But also, if you want to eat good, even if you're grocery shopping, and you want to buy the good stuff, it actually is still very expensive. And neither of us like cooking. So between that, let's have someone else cook for us. But I think we can do a better job choosing where to eat regularly. You know, the Michelin stuff, that's special. For me personally, I don't need that every single week to go to a nice restaurant like that. But I think he claims he's not a food snob, but he is. He likes it. So I'm like, okay, if it makes you happy. I actually like that he likes to spend. Like he knows how to enjoy himself with money. He'll shop. He likes shopping, and he'll spend on food. I think I would have a really tough time with a partner who I found was cheap or frugal.
Too cheap, yeah.
Like, do you not know how to enjoy your life? Are you going to go to the grave with all these, like, a casket full of, like, tens of thousands of dollars? You have to learn to enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah, like, everything is a balance. You want to, you need to set your priorities straight. You need to definitely have all the bills taken care of and all the retirement and all that put aside, and then for fun, and then some like cash for rainy day shit that happen, because as we get older, things can unexpectedly happen to our health, our parents, family members, whatever. And then like if you're homeowners, some shit's gonna happen and you need to have a lot of cash for that. So, and then the rest you can splurge. But if you have like, and there's something I don't know, I don't get with white people. Like, they don't pay for their kids' education, huh?
Some of them do.
Some of them like, okay, yeah. Maybe just some poor motherfuckers I know. It's like they let their kids just go take on student loans. For me, like why the fuck do you even have kids for? I feel like not to say like poor people don't deserve to have kids, but it just it's if you're going to become parents, you need to have start doing college funds for your kids, for like the young parents out there. I don't care your race or anything. You need to have
college fund,
so your kids they can have a kickstart. They don't have, because money. Who says money doesn't buy happiness? A fucking liar. money buys happiness. Money is not everything.
It's not.
But definitely
It helps.
alleviates a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and it can help. Yeah, I don't know. Like it just you when you become parents, that's your first priority. Should start saving for your kids' college fund. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Being able to talk with your partner about money is huge too. If you're not on the same page regarding that, you're going to have a tough long-term partnership. It can be an awkward conversation. I think that's why a lot of people can avoid it. Pete and I were forced to talk about everything because we agreed to have a prenup, and we also wrote our wills at the same time. It's stuff you don't want to think about or talk about, worst case scenario, but if something happens, like one of us dies, to be prepared for that. We both like being prepared. So the mediator asks, you get asked everything. You show everything. How much is in your accounts? If this happens, where do you want this money to go? If this happens, all those questions. And luckily it was a pretty easy conversation for us, but I'm glad we got it out of the way. And I think some couples can have difference in opinion or power struggles with that. Because I think when there's a lot of money involved, you see someone's true colors. And my parents, I watched them have some business partners where it didn't go well. And they were friends for many years, decades. And then you throw in a big lump sum of money and you kind of see people's loyalty and all that, which is sad. But I think you see who someone is. And also you see some couples divorce, the way that they fight over the assets. Of course, you hope that everyone's fair and level-headed, but when people are emotionally upset, they get petty. Man, it's so freaking sad. Have you seen, there was like a case back in the 90s or something where they were splitting Beanie Babies after a divorce. There's a photo and a couple is splitting the assets of their Beanie Babies. That petty. Yeah, it's that petty. Anyways, I do think the conversation is important to have. I have a friend who she had the conversation late with her life partner. They already had kids and stuff, but they decided like, oh, we should have wills for the kids and do all this. And then some bumps came up. They resolved it, but she said, we actually never fully talked about this. And I think one thing that came up was, oh, if something happens to me or happens to you, you want me to handle the money and then I'll decide for the kids. And he's like, no, it's going to go directly into the kids' account. She's like, let's talk about this. You not trust me that I'm not going to make the best decision for him? So all those things come up. Like, do they trust me?
I feel like if you're in a committed relationship and ready to step into marriage, definitely talk about prenup. If you feel like you can't even talk about that, that's a red flag. That means you can't even how
part of life.
Yeah, it's a part of
money is a part of life.
Yeah, and then at least know each other's loans or things like that. You have to align value of money. Like if you're a risk taker or more adverse with money, your value of money need to align because that's the biggest thing. I mean, next to sex in lasting marriage, it's like sex and money.
Yeah. Well, the number one reason people split up is money, right?
Money.
It's not infidelity. It's money. Mm-hmm. They say.
Yeah. So if you can't even talk about it, marriage is fucking hard. If you can't even talk about this money thing, forget it. 100% you'd fail. Yeah. Marriage won't work out for you. So I feel like that's something people need to consider, like just how to talk about money, and then like lay out some like a budget plan and your life goal. What do you want to do with it? And then long-term retirement plan. Talk about that before you commit into marriage. Yeah, that's it.